Yeah, look, there's been, you could probably go back earlier this season, to be fair. There has been tension between Benji and John Bateman. John's a very strong-headed character, and Benji had his work cut out as a rookie coach to manage John's character. And they did butt heads on a couple of occasions this season. We know that John went back overseas to England and has returned and has been speaking in all the right terms as far as being, rejuvenated and ready to go again. Look, he's been suggested as offered to Manly, John. If the money is right, there's no way in the world the West Tigers will stand in John Bateman's way. That's okay. Fact. Because of everything I've just spoken about. They want players. They want players that want to be there. It's only going to come down to money. From Manly's point of view, experience as far as Bateman is concerned, and as I said, ultimately it'll come down to how much they can squeeze him in at the cap.
The dogs are barking. This segment is called Rumour for DR. Hunt to Dolphins immediately in exchange for a forward and an outside back, and Gutho to play 5'8", so a bit thrown in there. Look, there's probably 55 texts here on Ben Hunt. So, look, can we have a Ben Hunt discussion? What's the most likely outcome here, David?
Yeah, look, I heard Corey Parker speaking earlier this morning, guys, and I agree with his sentiments in and around Shane Flanagan's position on this. Ben Hunt's the halfback of the St George Illawarra Dragons, and I think fans are getting confused around this whole Ben Hunt circus. At no point have the Dragons given permission for Ben Hunt to negotiate to get out of next season's deal. It's only for the fact that they've given him permission to negotiate for 26 and beyond. Now, until the Dragons have an alternative option at halfback next season, they won't be letting Ben Hunt go. The counter to that is, my understanding is that there's no suitors for Ben Hunt at this point in time. And it's due to a number of factors. One, the salary of which you'd need to pay, how much Ben Hunt is willing to take, coming back from around $1 million, $900,000, coming back. I would think at least half of that, coming towards the age of 35 in March. So as far as the Dolphins rumour and the Titans rumours, I think it's all smoke at this point in time, because there's no formal offers, no formal discussions being held by really any club, because they're all waiting for this November 1 period to unfold, dominoes to fold. You're not going to invest in a 35-year-old before you see what other dominoes fall post-November 1.
Good read of the situation. What about this one? Can we ask David, are there any legs to the Leo Thompson to the Bulldogs story from Samir? Leo Thompson from the Newcastle Knights.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
1,000,000%, yes. Absolutely. He's firmly on the Bulldogs' radar. Now, I must say, I reckon there's about 6 to 7 clubs on the radar of Leo Thompson. However, in answer to the Bulldogs question, yes. And they've been sitting in the background waiting for November 1 for a long time, the Bulldogs. Big fan of Leo Thompson as far as his age, what he brings to the football team. The concern for Leo Thompson at the Newcastle Knights, and this is Thompson's concerns, speaking to those closest to Leo, is that in and around him, he's losing his mentors. Saifidi has just upped and left to go to the Dolphins. Dane Gagai has only got next season on contract. Jaden Brayley, an experienced leader of that Newcastle Knights team, is continually being linked to rival clubs. And I can tell you that Parramatta are sitting watching Jaden Brayley's situation closely. On the flip side, Adam O'Brien doesn't want to let Jaden Brayley go. However, just due to salary cap stress, Brayley's on the radar. So Leo's losing all these leaders and mentors around him, and he's thinking, well, do I get out as well and go and forge my career elsewhere? The Raiders, where Thompson was formerly at, are certainly keen on getting him back as well, but absolutely the Dogs are keen.
Suo Farlongo was extended with the Melbourne Storm. And David, I think it was 5 years earlier this season. Ryan Pappenhausen seems to be in the sights of other clubs because of what's happened, and have they lowballed him? What is the story with Ryan Pappenhausen?
Yeah, look, this is a really, really, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a delicate scenario on how the Melbourne Storm manage and keep both these fullbacks, because that's their goal. However, I understand there are, I wouldn't say there's clauses in Fa'alongo's contracts. I reckon there's just a verbal agreement that if Pappenhausen re-signs at the Storm and maintains that number 1 jersey through next season and the year after, Sua Fa'alongo has, as I said, I believe there would have been a verbal discussion to say, listen, if Paps is going to be the fullback, can we get out of our 5-year deal? To your point, Brandy, the situation with Pappenhausen, I think he's surprised not the Melbourne Storm, but rival clubs on how well he came back from injury. And suddenly there's an appeal for Pappenhausen where there was a little bit of not too sure about him, given the significance of the injury that he was coming back from. And there's appeal there. And his manager would know that. And so November 1's this Friday, guys. Melbourne are going to have to get their skates on to get a new deal done on with Pappenhausen. He's indicated he wants to stay there. He wants to stay there, and why wouldn't you? However, as I said, the juggling act of keeping both fullbacks and the appeal suddenly, the more appeal than what there was from rival clubs for Pappenhausen makes it likely that he goes to November 1.
Pressed for time, David, so need to get some quick answers on these ones. So many texts coming in. David Riccio with all the mail. Hey, boys, will the Fox be thrown a lifeline by Wayne Bennett at the Bunnies once the Bulldogs get rid of him? Where is Josh Adokar headed, David? What's most likely?
Yeah, look, I would say unlikely on that front, guys. Certainly we know that the Rabbitohs, they've got a pretty full salary cap. A lot of talent in that squad. And Tyrone Munro, guys, is a priority re-signing for the Rabbitohs, of which isn't done yet as far as heading towards November 1. I expect him to go to November 1. So, again, South need to get moving to get a new deal done there. I would think the young talent, a sensational talent that he is a much more of a priority than Josh Adokar, who the sticking point here is management. Josh Adokar's management have been pushing for a 3-year deal from rival clubs. They're not interested. Rival clubs don't want 3 years. They only want 2. I expect the Fox, wherever he lands, will need to settle for a 2-year deal. And just quickly, the Dragons have been the club linked, but they're waiting on Clint Gutherson. They won't make a call on Fox until Gutherson makes a call on whether he's going to say.
How good's this? All right, and one last one. It's from Widgie. Are you prepared to answer Widgie's question? You know it's going to be weird. David? Yeah. How was Turkey,
he's
Dave?
Prepared.
Love the ponytail. How was Turkey? Is it true you have a ponytail?
Hang on a sec. Maybe it's my man. Maybe it's my man with the laugh. That may need to
carry on us with a ponytail. Well, let's just leave it out there, David. Thanks so much for coming on and ending your sabbatical.
Good on you, Dave.
Hey, thank you, boys. Go well.
Oh, how good's that? Things that
miss
hard to go well. Yeah, I do miss it. All right, breakfast with Vossy and Brandy, powered by Kubota. You want the tractors, you want the ride-on mowers, you want the utility vehicles. Kubota, they are the people to see.